Hey guys, Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com. Coming from the greenhouse, and after a night of craziness in Washington, Comey getting fired at the wrong time for the bad guys, the wrong time for the good guys, the wrong time for everybody. But there really wasn't going to be a right time, and the Trump and the part of the good guys that were trying to orchestrate this smooth landing from the old system into something new clearly is over now. Trump made the right call. He should have probably done it at the very beginning. It wouldn't have gone through the last 3 or 4 months of insanity. His 180 is about to turn into a full 360, and it's going to be power Trump from here on out. And that's what we need. We need someone to shut down the bad guys. And he met with the Russian ambassador, which was controversial. Everything Trump does from now on will be controversial, and that's good. That's a good thing. But I wasn't really all that interested in the Russian ambassador meeting. It was the meeting after it with Henry Kissinger. Everybody's like, well, why is Trump meeting with Henry Kissinger? Kissinger is one of the very top guys of the bad guy organization, the Deep State. I believe he told him to stand down or he's going to take him out. Trump telling Kissinger and the Deep State, this is it. It's over. And now we'll get to see the real Trump, the Trump we elected. But we're also going to go through the transition. It's going to be very bad. It's going to be very ugly. Things are not going to make sense, as if they've made sense at all in the last few months. But they're really not going to make sense. As the indictments come down for congressmen on the left and the right for crimes against humanity, crimes against the state, treason, there will be many suicides, or staged suicides, or banker suicides. Mainly congressmen whose egos cannot handle the type of mudslinging that's going to go on. That's all true. And if the 650,000 Uma Abedin documents are released, many of them videos and audios, you got a big issue in Congress. And Trump promised to drain the swamp. I think now is the time. So, having said that, expect massive financial chaos when that all comes down. If you have bought my report called The World in 2017, the Road to Ruta analysis, it goes through kind of how the year will turn out. This is the Economist magazine that I was analyzing from the Tower card, which is the total destruction. That's what we're about to hit, the Tower card, which is the destruction card, the destruction of the system. Because you got to wipe everything clean if you're going to rebuild the system, because there's just too many nooks and crannies that the bad guys can hide, and hide money especially. So, yeah, now's the time. And I did write in 2007, 2008, saw this coming after I learned about the Fed documents from the Road to Ruta. The 3 publications they posted online on January 1st, 2007. First one was a remake of a comic book called Wishes and Rainbows, about a little girl traveling in a world of no color, and basically talks about going back onto a gold standard. And then there is a teacher's guide attached to it called The Road to Ruta, a teacher's guide. No, I did not make up the name Ruta. Ruta actually came from a very first computer program written by John Kemeny called BASIC, and Alan Greenspan, who is the guy who took that original computer program, made financial assets, electronic financial assets, developed them, and developed a way to rig the market so that we can go off a gold standard in 71. And then those computers have been rigging the markets ever since. 100% control. People are just learning about it, a little bit with Michael Lewis's book, but a lot more now. And it's time. It's time to tell people the truth. So, yes, this analysis on this magazine right here is absolutely still intact, still, I believe, coming true, which means between now and the end of the year, it will be like nothing you've ever seen before. We've never, ever lived through this. There's never been a society on planet Earth. There's never been a time on planet Earth when there was an unbacked fiat monetary system that everybody bought into that is going to go away. And what do? There was always gold in the background for monetary crashes, and governments would lose faith in government's money, but gold was always there. Gold is not there now. It is not widespread, unfortunately, and very few people have it. There's jewelry. Women have jewelry. Guys have a little jewelry. That will be their treasure, unless you own physical gold. And almost everybody owns something. An old ring, a bracelet. You can melt down your fillings if need be. But yeah, most likely we're looking to go back onto some form of a gold standard. I think Bitcoin will be in play as well, and people will be distributed Bitcoin. I think Satoshi Nakamoto's 1 million coins are actually held by the United States of America and will be distributed when the time is right. And we are getting to that time. So what I want to talk about right now is the collapse and what you need to do to get ready for it. I wrote this article that I'm going to post on roadtoruta.com right now. It's called A Final Checklist for Everyone. I wrote this in 2008, the very beginning of 2008, knowing the Fed had orchestrated, and behind the scenes, the good guys, as I call them, were orchestrating a crash in order to take back the system. They tried to get Ron Paul in as president. It would have worked if Ron Paul was younger at the time, but two things were the problem in 2008. One, the crash wasn't big enough. It was huge, and the system almost shut down, but it wasn't big enough. So now they've blown bubbles even bigger for a more massive crash. And the other problem was people weren't smart enough. The population didn't know what was going on behind the scenes with the banks and the criminality and in government, but now they do. A majority of the people will ask, if you walk down the street, would you be in favor of bailing out the banks again? I don't think you'll find anybody who says, yes, let's do it. But you also won't find people who will agree that their savings account, checking account, and 401k should disappear. So there will be a lot of decisions made in the near future, and those decisions have to be organic. So we got to wipe out the entire system, because the bad guys, as I call them, have stashed away their money. So if you crash the system and then reallocate the same type of money based on like a NESRA Act or something like that, it doesn't get rid of this, the hidden funds, the black pools of money that would come back in and destroy everybody and put them back into power. So you need to take it all out. And you don't even need to take it all out. You need to stop the manipulation of certain key commodities such as gold and silver and oil and the US dollar and things like that. If you stop the rigging, then the system can progress further and move forward. But anyway, I wanted to go through a couple comments. This is at roadtoruta.com at the very top, or near the very top. It is called A Final Checklist for Everyone, and it goes through some of the reasons why, and I wrote this in 2008, but the checklist is absolutely just as important, although I'd add a couple things to it now. And the checklist is, the first thing you're going to need is to, number one, remove yourself from the electronic financial system. Get out of your 401k, get out of your checking account, get out of your IRA, get out of your savings account. Take as much out of the system as possible, because every single third party associated with your money will be gone when the banks crash. Every single one. And don't come back and say, oh, my credit union's fine. It's not fine. If they don't have derivatives, or if they don't use rehypothecation, or if they aren't a fractional reserve system, which they all are, their customers are. Their customers are linked to banks that are. So if their customers lose everything and there's a run on the big banks, there's going to be a run on every bank. So no, nothing is going to survive this. Get your physical out. Physical cash, physical gold and silver, which is the second most important thing. First most important thing, get your assets out of the system. Second is you need food, water, and you need them stored up. We don't know if this transition is going to take only a couple weeks, only a couple months, maybe a year, maybe 10 years. Nobody really knows. And how long can you and your family survive off a crash system where the just-in-time delivery system, which relies 100% on credit and the internet, if it goes down, you're in deep trouble. I mean, the people in the city, given a couple days, everybody's going to go mad. Given a couple hours, they're all going to run to the store and pull out everything off the shelves, and then you got what you got. So make sure you have enough. Take care of your friends and family, and people are going to come knocking on your door if they know you have food. So have enough for everybody, and you're going to need a gun for protection, unfortunately. For protection, not offensive, but defensive. Or just put a sign out in front of your house. There are 50 guns in this house, don't come near. And people will stay away because the house next door has no sign up at all. I mean, that's kind of a Mad Max world, but that's potentially what we're faced with. You need piles of basic necessities and stuff. All those little things that you take for granted. Toilet paper is a key one. What you would give for a scrap of toilet paper when there is none. It's insanity. I was watching this survivalist show, and they said use a squirt bottle. You can use the squirt bottle, and you don't need toilet paper, and just use the visual on that. Squirt away. Protection and safety. Make sure that your neighbors and you have a plan. Talk to your neighbors. Say, hey, if there's a hiccup, if there's an earthquake, if there's a tornado, if there's a fire, if there's a monetary collapse, we all need to get together. Let's make a plan on what we can do, and so it's not as scary. There's safety in numbers, and then you need a gun. You do. You need a gun. You need a gun. You need probably a few guns. One gun probably won't do it, and depending on how many people you're protecting, it also depends on where you are, and if it's a psychological thing against shooting guns and potentially killing people, that's up to you. Yeah, make that call if you're really willing to sacrifice your life for the not killing someone else who's attacking you. That call is up to you. But for me and my family, I won't allow that. I'll go down with a fight if I have to. But it's up to you, and that's a decision you need to make consciously and being aware. If you choose not to have a gun, that is a choice you are making, and it might be the right choice for you. But don't, kick yourself that you didn't know what the potential was. And the potential is that people go door to door with guns and looking for food to save their families and things like that. That's a really ugly scenario. I don't think it's going to happen because of all the planning that's gone on so far over the last 30, 40 years with the U.S. government. Around the world, I think it will get even more ugly. And one of the other ones, now this is just a strange list that I made. One of the other ones is you need to get tools to rebuild your future. In a monetary crash, pretty much everything is wiped out, and then you need a way to make money. And think about it, if you're someone in finance, it's not going to be a great world for you if that's all you can do is count numbers, count beans, because finance will not be the same in the future world. Taxes won't be the same. Nothing will be the same. The legal system won't be the same. If you're a lawyer, everybody should have a side hobby or a side job that ultimately they can earn some kind of living at. Whether it's a YouTube star, whether it's you make quilts, or you make jackets, or you grow food in your greenhouse that's non-GMO. You can say non-GMO greenhouse food, no chemtrails on it. And when food is not very plentiful, that food will be very, very valuable. So anyway, that is the story, and the reason I'm giving you this talk now, is because Trump has clearly closed the door on the bad guys. I think he gave the ultimatum to Kissinger when they sat down today, and I think it is time to drain that swamp, and when the swamp is drained, it's going to get ugly. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruta.com. Make sure you go to the site and check out that article. It's called a free checklist for everyone. And also sign up for emails. Put your email address in, and you'll get free emails when I post a video or have something to say. And you get a free book called Silver, Gold, Bitcoin, and God, which talks about exactly what's happening right now. Get your physical silver. Get your physical Bitcoin. Yes, physical Bitcoin. Buy a Bitcoin and take it offline in your own hands in a paper wallet. Anyway, a longer discussion. This is Bix Weir. We'll talk to you later.